Gun-Free South Africa has filed court papers on behalf of affected families to hold the police accountable for deaths and injuries caused by guns that were illegally released from police custody. Now, let's get the latest. We are now joined via Zoom by Gun-Free South Africa's director, Adèle Kirsten. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, talk to us more about your submission of this class action, proceedings and what your main objective is, Adèle.
Good afternoon, Unathi. So we successfully lodged our papers yesterday afternoon in the Western Cape High Court. And what that really does is that it's the first step of what we can anticipate is the long haul to getting to trial. But it's notifying the state that they have a case to answer. And of course, they will have an opportunity to look at our papers. But our papers include several documents from the Project IMPI, which was the SABC project, and as well as Medical Research Council data, which shows that over a period of about 7 to 8 years, there was this dramatic increase in gun-related injuries and deaths in the Western Cape. And then through the Project IMPI, we have the records of 261 individuals who were shot with Prinsloo guns. 63 of them were killed. Currently, and today, we launched the class action in Cape Town at the Leah and Desmond Tutu Legacy Foundation building, is that we have 9 families that have joined Gun-Free South Africa in this class action. And really, there are a number of aims. The one is to hold the state to account for not safeguarding the weapons that were under its direct control. These were weapons earmarked for destruction. They were sold, they were stolen and sold or distributed by Prinsloo and Naidu. And these guns then went into the hands of criminals, resulting in the death and suffering and pain of many, many families on Cape Flats communities.
Now, I mean, as South Africans, we know, just through the various reports about, gun violence, but there isn't really a lot of statistics around just how bad the situation is. I mean, we know that there have been those that argue, of course, that, death by knives is actually the #1 cause, but we now know that that, in fact, is not true. Just talk to us how wide scale the problem actually is. I mean, not a week goes by in this country where you hear of mass shootings and mass killings, particularly in the Eastern Cape, in the Western Cape, and in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah. Unathi, we have fairly good data on the sort of nature and extent of the problem. The latest crime statistics for the last quarter showed that on average, 34 people are shot and killed every single day. That forms just over about 42% of the total number of murders in this country. And we know that several hundred people survive gunshot injuries, which means we're talking about massive burden on the health system, we're talking about disability, loss of income, and of course impact on the caregivers. So it's right across the country. But Eastern Cape, Western Cape, KZN, Gauteng, that's where the problem of gun violence is concentrated. But it's clear today at the launch where mothers who've lost sons, who at this stage aren't necessarily liable to join the class action, that the gun violence, it affects all of us. No one is left immune. People can't go to school, send their kids to school in the morning. People have to worry about sending their children out to the shop. Gun violence has reached epidemic proportions. And one of the purposes of this class action is to really urge the state, in particular SABC, to recover guns, to take them out of circulation.
And just as we wrap, Adèle, you obviously want the South African Police Service, particularly the Minister of Police, to be held accountable then, because it would seem, that the biggest source of illegal guns also does stem from guns that are stolen from police stations, as an example.
The current data shows that 24 guns are lost and stolen from the civilian market every day, and 2 to 3 from cops. That's the only available evidence we have. But we know that something like the Prinsloo guns, he stole 2,000 plus guns. So really the class action is twofold. It's to hold the state accountable, and it's liable for the death and the suffering and pain of these families, so to ask for financial compensation. But importantly, and this is important for the families, the state has to fix the firearms control system. It has to stop the movement of guns moving from the legal into the illicit market. This has to happen together with the financial compensation, and they don't have to wait for the court case to come. They can start doing that straight away.
All right, Adèle, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Adèle Kirsten there from Gun Free South Africa. Of course, the Prinsloo guns case refers, of course, to Colonel Christian Prinsloo, who was convicted and sentenced in 2016 on multiple charges, including corruption and money laundering, and, of course, also selling illegal guns to criminals. All right.